Female representation in action films, 1900s to present day. During the silent film era, female filmgoers dominated at the box office. In 1927, Moving Picture World determined that 83% of moviegoers were female. However, these moviegoers primarily viewed romance films or dramas rather than epics and action films. Women did have a role in the filmmaking at the beginning of the era. However, as the silent film grew in popularity and the industry became more lucrative, women were pushed out, turning filmmaking into a primarily male-dominated industry. As a result, women had less say in the content of the films, which led to underrepresentation and misrepresentation. The most commonly used trope in action films of the silent era was the damsel in distress trope, in which a male character must rescue a female character who has been placed in peril. This was used throughout action films of the silent era and was the primary role offered to female actors in these movies. It's important to note that I was unable to watch either of these movies myself, as they have not been preserved in archive for access to the public. This is the case for many films from the silent era, which shows the importance of restoration and preservation. The film itself follows the story of a young heiress, Helen Stuart, whose estate is controlled by her deceitful uncle, Jack Peasley. She and her fortune are only rescued when a young gentleman, Monty Barnes, marries her in order to oust her uncle. The young heiress and the only woman in the film, Helen Stuart, who one critic described as sleepwalking throughout the picture, is shown to be at the complete will of the men that surround her. She must be rescued by a male character, as she can never save herself. Although I was unable to view the film, I think the poster can reveal a great deal. The woman is staring at the man as he speeds away with her, supposedly from danger. It is immediately communicated that the film will follow the theme of damsel in distress. Lightning speed. The film follows Jack Pemberton, a newspaper reporter who has recently fallen in love with Betty Standish, the governor's daughter. After she's kidnapped by notorious criminal Velvet, Jack must rescue her, and of course, he does. Once again, the singular female actress is depicted as completely incapable without the help of her male love interest. She is shown as having no agency at all. The posters also contribute to the narrative by depicting the male as strong and heroic, while the woman is shown to be scared and weak, fully reliant on the male lead. The woman is portrayed as extremely feminine in order to play off of and enhance the male protagonist's masculine.
Classic Hollywood. Researchers analyzing the American Film Institute archive and the Internet Movie Database found that female representation in the film industry hit an all-time low during the Golden Age. Over-sexualization of women was a part of this. Women appear partially or fully nude considerably more than their male counterparts. Female leads are characterized by their revealing clothing, and this is problematic because of hypersexualization of female protagonists in action cinema contributes to the cultural normalization of female objectification. Faster Pussycat Kill Kill was filmed in 1965 and is known for its violence and provocative gender roles. Varla, Rosie, and Billy are shown to be wearing revealing clothing to sell sex to the audience, and it's recognized as an important and influential film, even though it did not perform well in the box office. Tarzan and the Slave Girl, filmed in 1950. Tarzan is played by Lex Barker, and Jane is played by Vanessa Brown. The title conveys Jane as an object, being the slave girl. In this film, women are kidnapped and seen as high-value objects by the Leonians. Tarzan saved Jane and Lola, and this reinforces that females need men to be saved.
The 70s and 80s were really big for women in media. Starting in the 60s was the second wave of feminism, which drew attention to issues of domestic violence, created women's shelters, and brought about changes in custody laws and divorce law. There's also bigger roles in women in film. For example, in The Karate Kid, Elizabeth Shue, Dirty Dancing, Jennifer Grey, When Harry Met Sally, Meg Ryan. All three of these examples are rom-com, when the woman is kind of being chased after by a man, so still kind of in the roles of femininity and masculinity. My first movie is A New Hope in 1977. Carrie Fisher is Princess Leia. The movie is about a mission for Luke Skywalker to rescue Princess Leia, but as the movie progresses, she kind of takes care of her own, becoming the first two-dimensional princess. What I mean by that is, as they're escaping, she kind of creates jokes and doesn't really seem too appreciative that they're rescuing her. She also is able to pick up a gun and fight for herself in moments of high stress. It formed a new kind of Disney princess in the new modern era. Moana, Frozen's Elsa, and Mulan are examples of this, of women being able to hold their own in moments of high stress and physical contact, or physical battles, I guess. My next movie is The Terminator. Linda Hamilton plays Sarah Connor. In this movie, the Terminator comes back in time from 2029 in order to kill Sarah Connor. She's going to birth the leader of the revolution, and so he's trying to get rid of her before she has the baby. There's also a human being named Kyle Reese who comes down from the future to save her, I guess, from the Terminator. Her character dynamic goes from being saved to becoming the savior. As in the end of the movie, Kyle Reese dies, and she has to fight for her own life and fight for the humanity of the world. A key aspect is the importance of motherhood, whereas at the end she becomes pregnant with the kid, and her as a mother impacts the rest of the world and the safety of everybody else.
In recent film history, women have taken on more powerful roles in action films than ever before and have attempted to subvert the ever-present male gaze that has pervaded film history. Action films with female leads have been immensely successful at the box office and have demonstrated a growing audience looking for more positive female representation. The Hunger Games, directed by Gary Ross and released in 2012, stars actress Jennifer Lawrence, who plays the role of Katniss Everdeen, a 16-year-old girl forced to fight to the death with 23 other tributes. Katniss's character throughout the film exhibits bravery and strength, and many aspects of this film demonstrate a reversal of traditional gender roles. Katniss Everdeen exhibits physical prowess, skilled weaponry, and strategy throughout the film. She is highly skilled with a bow and arrow and is a competent hunter, traits which both made her a target for other tributes and aided in her survival immensely. Katniss also displayed intellect and strategy, especially at the end of the film when she comes up with a plan using poison berries to get both her and Peeta out of the arena alive. Katniss is continuously represented as equal or superior to her male counterparts. While exhibiting the strength usually assigned to male leads, in many ways, Katniss still embodies and demonstrates traditional female roles. For example, Katniss displays maternal instincts throughout the film. From taking care of her sister Primrose and even volunteering to take her spot in the games, to taking fellow young tribute Rue under her wing and attempting to protect her, Katniss displays the maternal instincts that are characteristic of other female leads throughout history. Finally, another aspect of this film that is crucial to understanding its female representation is the reversal of gender roles between Katniss and her fellow tribute and companion, Peeta. While Katniss's skills revolve around weapons and hunting, Peeta's strengths surround the domestic sphere through his experience of working in a bakery, skills which are typically stereotyped to women. Throughout the film, Katniss finds herself aiding Peeta in many ways, especially in one of the final scenes in which Katniss must save Peeta from the grasp of their final competitor named Cato. Peeta, instead of Katniss, displays the damsel in distress narrative usually assigned to women, and Katniss takes on the heroine role that in the past had frequently been given to men. Like The Hunger Games, many other action movies in recent film history have exemplified strong and smart female heroines, such as Kill Bill, Divergent, Tomb Raider, and Wonder Woman. Although we believe that women could still be better represented in action films today, it is clear that over the past 120 years, the representation has changed dramatically. Women have transitioned from being depicted as having no agency through the use of the damsel in distress trope of the silent film era, to ultra-feminine, to objectified and hypersexualized in classic Hollywood films, to finally having legitimate, powerful roles in recent years. As action movies have begun to be catered towards growing female audiences, actresses' roles have reflected the changing nature of our society, creating a more empowered, capable, and strong female protagonist.